Yep, and we have started recording.
Got
So,
some herb.
yeah. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What up, man?
So you guys just were at THOP Fest last night, yeah?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Did you guys perform, or you said you were helping out? What did that entail?
We were just helping out, just getting some artists together and just connecting with everybody was cool.
Okay.
It was just just being around the area. It was good to be to do that. It was a good experience for us, definitely.
Right on.
For sure.
Yeah. Got to meet a lot of artists. And
did you get to watch a lot? Did you get to
You know what? We
audience?
probably worked a little much more than watching.
Yeah.
But it was cool seeing the transitions of certain artists going on to the stage, and so that was cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no,
honestly,
what we
shout out to
did
THOP
see,
Fest,
what we did see was really, really inspiring and a lot of talent for sure.
Who were some of the coolest people that you got to see? Any standouts?
Farside
was
amazing.
yeah,
bro.
they were
As in,
amazing.
Farside.
Farside?
Yeah,
Okay.
they changed the name
Farside.
to the actual English Far Side.
Okay.
Because they lost the name, but dude, they
Is it
smashed.
Still the same Far Side.
Yeah, is it still all the original members?
I think they might have. Maybe one is off.
Yeah,
I
there's
believe
there's
that.
only 3. Originally, there's 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty dope to
nuts.
see.
They spazzed, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, they were dancing, dude.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
That,
And then we saw their whole.
Shocked.
that first album of theirs, I was
Crazy.
a big fan of for a minute. That one song that everyone knows by them, I can't think of the name.
Passing me by.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think of the
They
the
performed it.
piano, the synth loop in it. That
Yo, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. They absolutely obliterated that set, man.
Yeah.
So, but we got to see Ninth Wonder.
Okay,
Meet Ninth Wonder. It was a blessing.
that's dope.
For sure.
Yeah, what do you think makes a good show as an audience member? What do you think elevates a performance to the next level?
A great host.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you gotta have a good host. Because I've been to some shows and the host is just super quiet, and then everyone's in the crowd just kind of like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And so, it makes a difference, when you have someone that's just holding it down up on stage. So
Yeah, and aside from obviously good artists and performance, the sound quality means so much to me, man.
yeah.
Even at some big shows, and I'm not gonna pick at names or nothing like that because it doesn't matter. But moving forward, that sound quality is ridiculously a matter, man. Because some rappers, as dope as they are, you can barely hear them sometimes. You know what I mean? The sound, the beats, just overpowering, and it's it sucks. You know what I mean? Sometimes when I see that, I'm just like, man, because when you can hear them crisp, it makes a huge difference on the show.
Yeah. Have you heard? There's a Hannibal Buress bit where he's talking about, man, stop rapping over your own vocals at your shows. Just get your instrumentals and rap over that.
Yeah.
I think it's a similar thing with that as and like you said, with the beat that's overpowering. When the audio's not right and the beat's just overpowering and you can't understand anything.
Yeah, it's just man, I wish I could hear everything,
Yeah.
Actually, in those cases, their ad-libs probably save them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because you're like, I heard the ad-libs, so I understand how you
those are
sound.
pre-mixed.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But
I feel I do like when I think it's cool when there's vocals on a hook,
Yes.
but not the whole verse.
Yeah, I think it
a little ad-libs.
you need it some places to separate it. There's a bit of a weakness in hip hop in this fact that there's less dynamic range we get to play with, and so layering of the vocals on something like a hook is what we're able to do to separate the verse and the hook. Where someone who's doing melodic stuff can switch up the melody in a way that it's oh, that's a drastically different melody in the hook compared to the verses. But with hip hop, it helps to add some layers, and then you got a big sounding hook, and then you can drop back down for the verses.
Yeah.
When it comes to the host, I do think like one thing that can make a show much better is the pace of the show be kept up. Like whether it's like a good host in between acts or if it's the acts follow one after another.
For sure, like maybe even just like a host that raps, so you can spit freestyles, you know?
Yeah. I feel the energy drain when like a really good artist performs and then there's a couple songs of just the DJ, and it kind of dies out a bit before the next artist comes on. Where I like things to be kept moving. Like, all right, what's next? What's the next thing I'm waiting for? You know?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah.
Sure.
What are you guys? Are you guys focusing on writing music? Do you have a group of shows lined up? What's your guys' main focus right now?
Man, I definitely writing music. We have been moving too slow on putting out some music. Definitely got a lot of shows lined up, and that's really like where we get most of the love as a community. They're like, yo, you guys killing it live, but you know, we definitely want to start releasing music. You know what I mean? And we do.
We're building our roots.
We got stuff.
Like
we got stuff. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I was looking through your guys'
Yes.
Spotify's today and your YouTubes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pluralize it on purpose because you guys do have not only at least one track as a group on Spotify, right? But you also have Spotify's for you guys as individuals. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he has a whole project already released, and it's fire.
It's got like a colorful blue
Frickin'
album art.
fire.
Yeah. She actually drew it.
Oh yeah.
I drew it, and then I drew him, right? And then I did the graffiti.
Yeah,
and then I
down.
put it in Photoshop and did a little something.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
That's stuff that I am a big fan of, like album art and any kind of graphic design. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about various art forms, and one of them is like people's graphic design and stuff. When you put it onto Photoshop, do you use any like tablet or anything or do you do it all?
No, I drew it. I'm doing it like the Ghetto Fabulous way still. I draw it on a piece of paper, and then I take a photo of it, and then I just bring up the contrast, the brightness, and I
do the exact same thing with all my art.
I actually just recently purchased a tablet, but then I lost it, so I didn't even get a chance to use it. So
I bought a tablet at one point and couldn't get the feel of it right. I like returned it like 3 days later, and may have spent the money on something else similar, but I don't remember. But I was like, I don't like. With a pencil, you really feel the feedback of the paper. Like, you feel like you're rubbing against something. There wasn't the same kind of friction with a tablet. And so I was like, it's off on this.
That's what's up.
On that thought, is there a way that the thought process behind making art, like visual art, carries over into the writing of your music?
Visual art
with music. I gotta say
I feel maybe it's opposite.
Yeah, I feel like the music sparks a graphic art.
I can see that.
It's because for us it's like we'll make a track and then we'll be like, ooh, we should do this. You know, then it'll be like, what should we draw as art? Like, what kind of idea? Mine was like an abstract, weird. I wanted like kind of like a like artsy look to it, like graphs. So that's what we spaz on. So.
But if you want to get deeper, like, our surroundings is kind of like art, right? And we pick up a lot of things around us, our environment, to make our music. So, I mean, I just had like a deep thought, you know?
I remember in a English class I took, my teacher like pointed out the window and was like, everything tells a story. Like, you look at the street, it tells the story of where you're supposed to go, you know, and how you're supposed to act on your journey, you know.
Of course, it was the English teacher.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. He's like, stories. This is all stories. But it's like that, you know, where everything's designed in a way that it is its own art, or it is telling its own story.
For sure.
Yeah, I
dig that.
I've been watching a lot of cooking videos on YouTube. Either of you guys cook?
That's art. I mean, we get down.
Yeah.
I want to say she definitely cooks more than me for sure.
Yeah, but
I got, you know what I mean?
just been so busy. Honestly, I love cooking, but man, I'm trying to really get used to the cleaning up. The cleaning up is,
get that.
Yeah.
I'll leave a pan on the stove for way longer than I probably should.
For sure.
It's funny though. The more I cook, the more I'm learning how to cook without making it stick too much, so that I can clean it up easier.
Yeah.
Just for my own laziness, because I'm like, I don't want to.
Aren't you happy when like you have to soak it? You're like, okay, I can soak it overnight.
Yeah, so you don't have to deal with it in the moment. Yeah, I've definitely done that before.
On that note too, cooking like for yourself is really good though, because you can cook.
Oh,
good,
for sure.
You can use good stuff. You know what I mean? Like ingredients that you feel are good. You know, you're not getting some. And you can keep
oils.
Track of
it so much easier. I diet a lot because I was really fat for a minute, and now like I fight, and so I'm trying to keep my
MMA
weight
fight?
low. Yeah.
Oh,
I just had a boxing match on Friday. It came out to a draw, but it was a war. I think the people
12 rounds?
Audience,
10 rounds?
3 rounds.
3 rounds?
Three
rounds. Because
rounds.
MMA, right? It's not or is it
no,
boxing?
this one was just boxing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's at this great little spot called Launchpad in kind of a little west of South Central. It's over on Gage. And it's this basically like a weed convention. It's all these tables selling weed and edibles and
then
stuff.
it's the boxing match.
And then there's fights and there's
That's
music
pretty
performances.
badass, yo.
That's
you
pretty
guys
cool.
should come down and perform
Definitely,
sometime.
that'd be dope, man.
I'm sure people would enjoy that.
Yeah.
But cooking is
Definitely.
a great way to like keep track of everything. So
what you're eating,
yeah,
For
just-
sure.
We're some super like health conscious people too.
Yeah.
We try to, you know what I mean, at least what we can, because it's just you just feel different, you know. And
Yeah, that's something I didn't understand when I was heavier. Like as I've lost weight, the times now that I do pig out, which lately has been a lot. I've got a thing of Oreos in there that I shouldn't be eating. But now when I do it, like, I tell people, like, I feel drunk afterwards. Like, I feel like I'm making bad decisions. I'm slow. Like,
super slow. Super slow. Yeah.
What are you guys listening to right now? Any particular artists that have been on your rotation a lot lately?
I'm gonna let you go on that one. I do got. I don't know, man. I feel like I've been just bumping beats lately. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I've been falling in love with beats, but lately, you know what it's been? I feel like it's been more of artists we've been meeting lately, and like obviously the OGs, MF Doom, always be bumping like Atmosphere, MF Doom, like, you know, inspiring people.
I've been bumping Atmosphere a lot recently.
Yeah,
just like his old music,
Yo,
you know.
you guys do like you guys have a whole lot of walls.
Got a lot of walls.
Yeah,
we did do that remix. Yeah.
I just love that beat, and then
that song is pretty old.
One day I
That's
played
like 3
it,
years
and we're
old.
just like, yo, I think I wrote that first verse, and then we were just like, let's go, let's just do this.
And then that hook came.
We were just like, let's just have fun with this.
That album was one of the most influential albums in my upbringing. I want to say that I think God Loves Ugly ended up being more influential, but Seven's Travel was the first one that got me into Atmosphere. And it blew my mind when I first heard it.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Overcast and Between the Lines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, Atmosphere is just ridiculous. That whole label, we're a big fan of Rhyme Series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're a huge fan of Rhyme Series.
They seem to, like, every one of their artists is fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
POS
is amazing.
Dilated People's on there.
Dilated People's.
You got Ciroc, you know what I mean?
Ciroc is a beast.
I like Damn Atlas a couple years back when he put out.
They even still have. They have A$AP Rock on there too, right?
Now they do. Yeah,
I think he's like, or at least he's like a, you know, collab with them.
Yeah,
I know Doom was on there too. It was like a collab, like
at least on the at least on a couple of his albums. He was on there.
They're just peoples.
That Blood Sandwich album. I don't know the name of the album, but it had the song Blood Sandwich on it about his two brothers.
I heard it, but
it's
sounds like
A$AP Rock is crazy.
It's his most coherent.
Really?
Rap. Like, you can understand it. Like, a lot of his music is so dense, it's hard to understand. Blood Sandwich is just...
For sure.
It's just a simple song about his younger and his older brother.
Okay.
And it's great to hear him get more... just straight up, like, hey, this is my life. A few songs on that album is like that. He has a song called Kirby on that album, just about his cat. And, it's just so simple and playful that it's like, oh, it's refreshing to hear him do that.
Not some like rock crazy MC fast punk. Like he lyricist wise, he's one of the OGs. Right?
Yeah, he's
ridiculously lyrical.
I feel like I've heard criticism of him being like nonsense rap, but if you listen to everything that his words reference, because he's like, every line has 5 references to, like, oh, this is a Shakespeare play over here, but then there's also this, like, B movie over here, and, like, he's referencing so many things that when you get everything and you see where his mind's at, you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's pretty intricate, the way he weaves it together. I love it. Have you ever heard Appleseed? His album Appleseed? I don't know if it was released on a label, but it's got these really grimy saxophone-heavy beats that are fantastic. They go so good with his, like...
grimy saxophone beats. That sounds just like what you like.
I
do. That sounds fun.
Grimy saxophone beats at Appleseed.
It's almost like they're like slowed down jazz
We're gonna have to bump
saxophone.
those. We're gonna definitely have to bump that.
And with his like deep grimy voice, it goes together so good.
Cool.
Is there like any non-hip hop music that you're a big fan of that people might be surprised about?
I mean, I love like singers, you know. I bump Ari Lennox, you know, she just has a beautiful voice. And you know, some of the things that like these female artists like sing, you know, like it's not something I would sing or put out, but like, I don't know, if they have a really good voice, it's just like, I just want to hear them sing. But let's see if there's anyone else.
I'm a huge fan of
she's like hip hop. I mean, like, she like is in some like, cool hip hop songs, so
yeah, she's definitely crossed over
for sure.
That scene. I'm a huge fan of like girly teen pop music. by that I mean I love like Olivia Rodrigo's album. Or
Ariana Grande.
I have not really gotten into Ariana Grande. Big Taylor Swift fan, and Billie Eilish. Those three particular, their instrumentals are so clean, and they have this 808 in them that's like
same with Taylor Swift.
So well produced. Yes.
Interesting.
Not quite the 808 emphasis, but like her production's really just well crafted. Particularly, it's album by album. Like I'm not as into her whole catalog because she's got so much. Especially like her older, more country stuff. I've not known. I don't know most of it. But her last album, particularly, I've played it a lot. In between Jack Harlow, I would go back and forth between some Taylor Swift and Jack Harlow. For a long time.
It's good to have balance. Yeah, it's good to have balance for sure.
Yeah, see, I'm like I'm like weird. I just play instrumentals. Like I don't know what it is. I was like,
do you have
but I do have. I'm a big fan of everybody. When I hear something like dope,
you know,
but on my
like
regular day to day, I'm just like just beats and just rehearsing rhymes is
Do you
like
have
my thing.
particular producers that you go to for the instrumentals you?
Not particular. I wish I did, to be honest. I wish I produced my own stuff too, but I've tried and it's just time consuming, you know. I wish I would have started younger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? With lower time.
get you. I wish I would have like taken some music classes be able to just throw it out the way. I wish I would have taken some saxophone classes.
Yeah.
You know,
never too late.
If you ever hear like trumpet solos on stuff, like it sounds so good.
Yeah, for sure. I love that kind of stuff, bro.
Yeah,
Love it.
Have you ever heard Urban Nerd?
No,
he does some beats on YouTube. Him and Chase Bank, I'm a fan of. Yeah,
I'll bump any type of beats. I really enjoy beats. So.
Yeah, both of them are both kind of the like modern boom bap, which is like they have the sound of boom bap, that like jazzy influence, but with more modern rhythms. I think in the vein of like a J. Cole or a JID or whatnot.
JID's a beast.
For real, right?
Yeah. Style's crazy and different.
Yeah, he can just rattle off syllables in a way that
it's catchy, huh?
It's so unusual, but like it never feels off.
Yeah.
I
agree. Definitely.
So you said you are working on writing stuff, right? Is there a message that you want to encapsulate in what you're writing? Particularly one that makes it unique from any stuff that you've done in the past. Anything that makes this music you're working on now different.
That's a good question. It's a really good question. You know, actually, we were listening back to the old Indigenous Cats project, and then it's so like everything had such a nice purpose or meaning to it, you know. And what we're writing now is so the same. It's got its flavor, but it's so it's just so different in a way of like it still has its flavor, but it's just so I guess
it's like the Traveling Souls project was kind of like simplified, you know what I mean? But it had a lot of depth in a way. And now we're just getting super lyrical with our new stuff.
It's kind of like performing has opened our eyes to like. It's kind of like a mix of like performances and studio time has helped us realize like, yo, we want to put this kind of stuff up. You know?
Okay.
Stuff that's like
I guess
spreading a message, but also has that raw, catchy flavor to it. You know what I mean? Something that's like in your face at the same time. Like, what are they saying? You know? So that's kind of like where I'm at least.
But still keeping it like that. I don't know, just bringing back that flavor back in the 90s, you know. But mixed, like incorporating it with like our indigenous.
To be real, like a lot of our project stuff too, it just comes from the heart. Like we'll be like, yo, that's dope, and we just go off it. It's like
because for us,
it's not like we sat and we're like, yo, this project gotta be like this. Although that'd be a great idea, like sparking it, but a lot of stuff is just from the heart.
And for us, like we don't want to be too intense, like with our lyrics. That's just us, you know, because we're not like we're not here to really teach. We're just here to, you know, just incorporate things that we have learned in our life. And the light died?
Yeah.
That's okay.
No worries.
But keeping a balance between like hip hop, just like wisdom, you know, whatever wisdom we have, but not being like, I don't know, just using it in our own flavorful way. I guess we're still figuring it out. That too, right? I guess it's kind of difficult to articulate your art in a way. But yeah,
I like the sound of you're taking influence from how your shows go and incorporating that with the ideas that you already have. I think that's a good strategy. Also, the idea of getting the message and the lyrics mixed with the catchiness and the raw and the sound, I think that's a good strategy as well. I used to be in a hardcore band, like a hardcore punk band, and the way I would write music was always from the perspective of
what you wanted
the
to hear.
show.
Yeah.
Well, definitely that. I think in hip hop as well, that's a major thing that's influenced me, was always make stuff I want to hear. But the hardcore has a very particular set of dance rules. Like, there's a particular way that you dance in each section of a song.
Okay.
And so one of the guitarists in my band wasn't really a hardcore kid. He had influences from all these stranger types of music that weren't really in the scene. I came in as a later guitarist, and like I was big into going to shows and dancing at them. And so every section of the song I'd write like, okay, so this is going to be where they two-step, and then the breakdown's going to come in right here, and they're going to mosh and stuff. And so I think the combination of the two made us better, because I was so focused on the crowd experience, and he was so focused on these, like, just how can I make these strange harmonies, you know? And it's something much more, you know, experimental, while I was much more, like, poppy. Like, I just want them to recognize this and do what they want to do. And I think it's the same thing you're describing, where like you mix that the catchiness that, you know, like, oh, the crowd's gonna vibe to this, while at the same time bringing in the more like
making it like can you make it sound good on the record though, you know?
Yes.
Like your vision of that wild like crowd vibing to it, you know.
What is something that you see in the culture of shows that you go to that doesn't get the recognition that you think it deserves?
What is something that we see in the culture of shows? I guess you know what? Going to actual hip hop shows, like in the community, for me, like LA based or city, actually like coming up in the scene, like from what I've seen, is completely different from what you see on like the screen. 100%. Like it's like it's a trip, you know. It's like a community. It's like people that have came up this far, you know, people that are right here and like coming up, recognize each other and know each other, and it's like even like going to shows and being like, yo, what's up? Oh, Indigenous Cats. Oh, that person. What's up, man? Nice to see you again. And I mean, like, oh yes, all y'all video, da da da. And it's like crazy. And some people do it extremely huge. Some people I haven't seen people go beyond that, but like beyond the barrier of like extreme fame, you know what I mean? It's a community. It's real. Like, I feel like, and it doesn't get the media that you'd expect if you just watch TV. You know what I mean?
There's something wild about how like there's artists that I'm a fan of that like you can go to a show and the crowd's not big and they're not being like, there's not people mobbing them afterwards like, hey, can I get an autograph and whatnot?
Got like 20 security guards.
And it blows my mind sometimes where like I'm sitting there as a huge fan like, how is nobody freaking out right now? I went to a art show in LA a couple years back and ran into Sadistic. Have you ever heard Sadistic?
Yo, I think he just performed at THOP Fest.
Oh yeah, long blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah, he was there yesterday.
Right on. I went to a party in LA and he was just standing there. I was like,
you know what? We had I think it was Mark Ford yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Someone, because Colin was like, man, Afro's so humble, and then he was just like, well, yeah, he's just a human being. And then we were like,
you're right, bro.
You're right, man.
He's an artist, but he's just a human being. He's just like kicking it, you
know? When I saw Sadistic, I told him, like, this is going to sound like a weird thing, because whatever. Do you happen to be the rapper Sadistic? And he's like, yeah. I was so convinced, like, no, this is just some random dude. It's not, there's no way it's him. I probably creeped him out afterwards. I told him, like, hey, I'm a huge fan. I'm fangirling out right now. My heart's beating a bit fast.
I've been there before, though. Like, yeah, I've been there.
You guys, you know the comedian Theo Von?
No.
He's funny dude. I happened to run into him at a building in LA once, and same thing. Like, I told him, like, man, I'm freaking out a bit right now. I'm a huge fan. I don't expect to see you in person. I was working at the time. It's like trying to say so much to him, but like not being able to say anything at all because all the words get like jumbled up at the same time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm probably an unhealthy fan. Like when I'm a fan of something, like I'm a huge fan of them.
That's dope.
Yeah. Is there any? I don't want to say celebrities because like a lot of the time it's not even the people who are celebrity famous.
Yeah.
It's the people who just do really good work. Is there anyone that does really good work that if you met, you'd be like, oh, this is a lot of pressure right here. I want to make a good impression. I love you so much.
You know what? There's this artist. She's super well talented. Her name is FKH Wicks. Yeah, she directs her own videos. She's a dancer. She's a vocalist. You know, she's just on another level. So I totally respect artists like that for sure. Badu, she sounds the same, just as her younger self. So I think that's amazing when artists sound the same, yo.
Yeah,
like, that's wild.
Yeah,
it's just like it's their gift, and they just work at it every day. So,
y'all ever gotten into Tom Waits? You listen to him?
No.
He's the exact opposite of that. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But like his early stuff, he sang pretty well. By his third album, he sounds like a werewolf. He's like a blues piano ballad guy. So like it's a lot of him playing piano and singing these blues songs. And I guess just all the years of touring and smoking cigars and drinking whiskey, like his voice just got torn up, and it sounds amazing. Like I really like dirty sounding music. Like if I feel
raspy,
if I feel a little unsafe listening to music, I like that, or if I feel like I might like step on some glass or some something dirty, I like feeling that from music, and he has that vibe of like, oh, it's 2:00 and you're out back of a bar and you're trying to stumble your way home. It's just wonderful.
I feel it. Yeah. It's all different aspects to life.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Tapping into each one of them.
And there's such, I don't know why there is, but there's such beauty in like griminess to me. I don't know if that's.
You know what though? Like in our
super.
I've been experimenting with music, right? And then just writing some weird stuff, you know what I mean? So I can understand that, it's like he inspires me to do that.
I love weird stuff, bro. That's why I love MF Doom, like as a rapper, and I even love different, like I like a lot of different types of music. It's just depends on the quality of for me, the time taken and like the creativity.
Yeah.
Like on certain things, it's like, to me it's really special when I hear something, because I love weird stuff, man. Like talking about the weird shit, you know what I mean? As long as it's like it's not cliche, something like just repetitive, when I love that creative spark in an artist. Like if it's something I'm like, ooh, like, whoa, that's nice. Like it can be any music, any sound, but I'm just like, that is unique. That is fire.
I've mentioned to a friend recently that I like artists that make stuff that I don't like. Like if it's so weird that like I don't like the sound of it, I'm like, at least they're trying to do something. Like I'm gonna throw shade at a band here. My sister used to listen to this band called The Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And I despise them because of how just normal it sounded. Like it was just, every song felt like it was made to be exactly what people wanted to hear on the radio.
I feel that so much, man.
And it wasn't even like, to a degree that it would be a number one hit. It was like every song sounded like it was 15 on the Billboard. Like it was just trying to be enough to be popular, and it upset me so much. Where like there's this band called the Taxpayers who are a jazz punk band where they'll play like really fast distorted guitars and then have like a whole brass section play over top of it, and then a guy and a girl vocalist both screaming, and it's hard to listen to. Like, I suggest it to people, but I'm like, you probably won't like it. It's not enjoyable to listen to, but it's interesting, and I would way rather listen to something that's interesting but hard to listen to than something that's easy to listen to but is just nothing, you know?
For sure. You know what? Like, there's like some like poppy, lovey R&B songs that, yeah, I would rather listen to something a little more interesting than that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, it's their art, you know. It's just what I'm just in a different, you know, like vibration.
It's all love, you know. It's all love. Like everybody, like I never hate on anybody, but I just feel like that about art myself. I'm like, I like that creative spark of uniqueness. It's just
for sure.
You hear something, I'm like, it sounds like track. Like, I've heard this track before, but it's not. I know I haven't, but it feels like I have, you know. But when you hear that uniqueness, it's just one of those things. Like, this is dope. Like, you know, it can be anything.
It's almost like I would rather look at a house that's been egged than a house that was just freshly painted white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a more interesting thing to look at.
No, yeah, like even the city,
egg
right?
Is really hard to take off houses.
You come into a city and you see the structure that's everywhere. You know, Chipotle. Like, boom, boom, like boom, boom. Then you go to somewhere like, let's say, San Diego or a certain city, colorful art, graffiti there, painting over there, and it's just like, oh, this is nice. It's just not that corporate structure, you know what I mean? And I feel the same about music. It's like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, look at that right there. Boom, boom. Oh, I didn't expect this right here. Look at the lyricism right here. Look at that quality of that sound versus the structured song. You know, like, here's this.
That's what's so great about going to like an older city like LA. You go to downtown LA and you can walk from buildings that are like 80 years old to buildings that were built yesterday. And you can see the differences of how people have built the buildings from downtown. As you're walking more to the west, you get all these newer buildings. And then on top of that, you get all the graffiti. And it's like, it is, just beautiful to see.
It's just nice.
It's just layers of creativity.
Yeah, it just shows a spark of color in that city, you know, spark of art. Yeah. You know, it's not just a structure of work, 9 to 5.
If you guys were to describe your music as a movie or television show, what would it be?
Music, a music television show or a movie? Yeah,
if you were to throw your soundtrack and be like, if your music was the soundtrack to a movie, what movie do you think it would fit perfectly for?
Oh, we pick a movie?
Yeah, one that's made.
I only watch goofball movies, man, so can't even put it like I'm like thinking like Grandma's Boy and like let's just like those movies. But I know it wouldn't fit there, you know what I mean? But I just
don't think it would fit there? You don't think that
maybe it would? We could probably play some funny stuff. You know what? Maybe you can play some funky stuff.
I feel like our music could go into like fucking, I don't know. That's a hard one.
I'm just kidding. That's a good one, though. I mean, definitely, I would like to put stuff in a cartoon. I would see it in a cartoon.
Yo. For sure.
Like maybe Adult Swim or something, but like, you know what? There was a time I drew something. I was like small, and I named it Stoneheads. It was like Stonehead. It was like these blobs. It's kind of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Okay, yeah.
But it was not like that at all. It was like these blobs, and it was Stoneheads, and it was all about them being faded and being goofball, but they were MCs. It was fucking dope.
Wait, you made that idea?
Yeah, I had this idea in a booklet. Like, maybe I should. Hey, maybe it's I'm saying it now to maybe manifest it.
You should start.
Anybody want to do something? Let's get busy.
Start putting it in your booklets with your CDs.
Stoneheads. Thanks for sparking that up again. I had completely forgot.
I'll tell you what, man. I love cartoons. So if you guys did put that in like the booklets to your CDs, I'd be.
Yeah, maybe we could get busy on something like that. You know, if you have ideas, like why not?
Yeah,
shit. I'm all about it.
I mean, you might be able to tell. I got this Adventure Time bag, and all my artwork is my little cartoon characters. What cartoons are you a fan of? Yeah, you said Aqua Teen.
I love cartoons, bro. Yeah. Honestly, my little
he really does.
I mean, I don't watch them like all the time, but when I do, like if my cousin or my little brother watching cartoons, like I'll be like, "What are you watching?" And I'll sit down and like spaz out for hours sometimes.
I'm genuinely upset by the fact that studios don't make 2D animated movies anymore. Like all the movies that are made animated, they're all like the same like 3D Pixar style, and like I'm a fan of Pixar movies. They make good movies, but I love the artistry of like the hand,
like the comic book vibe.
Yeah.
Like Aqua Teen, like that idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of like TV shows that still have that 2D style. Yeah. But movies, they for some reason they
left that.
Died out.
You know which one I really like? Avatar.
Yo,
yeah, honestly, that one was
Avatar. That's a hard ass cartoon.
It's one of the best. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best
that's
for
top
sure.
Notch. Like that's
like I've sat and watched with his cousins and brother.
Like my cousin would be like 40 something. They just be watching these Japanese cartoons.
It One
Piece?
And I'm like,
is it One Piece? They be watching like One Piece and Naruto, everything.
But
everything.
For them, it's so easy to get into it, but nothing really pulled me like Avatar, where I wanted to watch all these episodes.
Breed, you know?
There's something about.
But One Piece is cool. I did watch. And
there's something about Japanese storytelling that's different than Western. I love, like I said, I love animation. I try really hard to get into anime because I got a lot of friends who are into it. And it's a weird structure to the episodes where like the episode ends and I'll feel kind of empty.
Yeah,
like that didn't.
Because they are empty, bro. They're like it's like usually a sad person that's whooping everyone's ass. You know?
That's true.
That's what it's all about.
I'll tell you what though. There's a vibe in multiple animes about how it's boring to be the best at something. Like that is a theme that comes up in like multiple.
You're right about
animes.
that. You know, you're right about that.
And I don't see that in American storytelling at all. Like I've never seen a story in Western media that's like, oh, once you get to be the best, everything becomes boring. And it's interesting that that's a different.
What movie did we just watch with Brad Pitt? It was about
7 years in Tibet.
7 years in Tibet. All right. So there's a scene.
I honestly recommend that movie. That's a great movie.
There's a scene where like this girl's telling him like she's like, see the difference between Tibet and American people is that we value the person that does not want to be famous, that's like completely empty, you know what I mean?
No,
while you guys I probably wording it wrong, you know?
No, you're fine, you're good.
And then
just
while
gonna
Americans,
add something.
You guys value the person that's the most flaunty, the richest, that shows the most. He's this guy, magazines and everything. He's like, while we...
It's kind of like they value the person who has less material,
who's the most humble.
Yeah, and in America values the person who has more.
Not about the base of base people, because I'm sure we don't feel like that, but on like media standards.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Culturally, we definitely have a thing about
wanting to be the best.
He got this. I'm like,
flaunting everything. It's almost it's an insecurity thing. Like people are desperate to make sure not only that they're successful, but everyone else knows that they're successful.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
That's a good topic, yo.
Yeah, let me
sparked us some cartoon talks and everything, man.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I love samurai stuff, man.
Oh, you seen Afro Samurai? Have you ever seen Afro Samurai?
I have not. I've wanted to.
That shit is hard.
But I don't know if
I saw it because I like RZA from Wu-Tang. And he directs the music. Yeah. And kind of like the concept, so I watched it.
You know what? I feel like our music would go great
on something like that.
I don't know about some real life shit though. Like I don't know. It's just too serious. Our music is a little more like fun. It's some aspects of seriousness, but for the most part, it's like,
crazy. I never thought about it.
I'll tell you what. I think that animation is possibly a more realistic thing than live action, and I'll tell you why. I don't think that we as people perceive reality as fully real because we see it through the lens of our emotion. And I think that animation is closer to how we perceive the world because all of the art that goes into it is tainted with emotion. You know, like a picture that's drawn is never just real. It's real plus the lens of emotion. And I think that animation, because of that, is more similar to how we actually feel when we walk throughout our life, because everything's dramatized in a way that's like, yeah, when somebody's yelling at you, it feels like their head's massive and you're a tiny little thing in the corner of the screen, you know?
That's cool. I definitely feel that.
Yeah. For sure, yeah.
What's that movie, Monkey Bone? Have you seen Monkey Bone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gives me that concept. Sorry to cut you off, but
that's all good.
That movie's wild like that.
Yeah.
Like, I need to write these movies down. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just, you reminded me of all these, like, cartoon stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking...
Did you, were you ever a fan of, let's see, Adventure Time?
Oh, you know what? My little brother did, though.
Yeah.
Spazzed out on that, but I never actually tuned in. Although it looks great.
Trip. It's a strange. It's very aimless. Like there's something to it that's very aimless, and
that shit looks crazy. It's like dimensional travel, and it's like it looks crazy. You know?
There was a time period when that was really popular, and Regular Show and Gravity Falls, where there was all these artists coming out of Cal Arts, and they were all the same group that made all of these shows, and it just. What they made was really good. They elevated cartoons to a level of maturity that I don't think existed before. Or it just came out when I was a teenager and I was more mature so I could see the more mature themes. But I think it was the art form that changed, not me. That's ridiculous. Yeah. I think it's continuing too. I think animation is.
Have you seen you know, the homie showed me this the other day. Have you seen Denzel Curry? He did an album that's all like, and they made a cartoon completely based on his album.
No,
my homie showed me that the other day, like maybe like a month ago. Yo, that shit is nuts.
Yeah, I'll have
to check that out. The whole album is a video on a cartoon, like space dimensional, like going in the computer. It's like crazy.
That's pretty dope.
And it's fire. Like he spits bars. Like, and I'm not Denzel Curry's dope, but I've never actually listened to his music. But I know he's fire. I know he's fire because what I have heard is crazy. Watching that, instant fan, yo.
Yeah,
instant fan.
That sounds dope.
Definitely what Denzel Curry. I don't know, cartoon full album or something.
Yeah.
You could look it up. I don't know that name, but yo.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to stumble upon it.
It's literally what we're on the base of talking about. It's crazy.
Right on.
It's crazy.
So, do you guys have any particular memories of best show that you've performed at?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You already know.
I got a few that I'm just like, we got a few that have been those moments of like, wow.
You should say it.
I'm gonna start with San Diego.
Yeah,
that was one of them with their peeps, Amon and Verde.
Their sound
they actually just performed last night too.
Their sound at their for that show in San Diego a couple years back was immaculate.
It was like a rave, bro.
It was a rave?
Because the lights were like, it just had the neon lights.
It was, you know what it was like? It was like
vendors.
And then they had this long runway, right? So you just can. It was long.
It was so like you had the crowd on both sides.
It was a big crowd.
Yeah, it was dope.
It was just fire, bro.
It was dope. There was art everywhere, vendors. It was indoor at the
neon purple green lights, like
the
Chicano Park in San Diego. Fire, bro. It was one of those moments where we were like, yo.
Yeah, how do you feel about the crowd on both sides of you? Does it not feel uncomfortable to have people looking at your back?
No.
No. No.
I mean, shit.
I've never had it to the point where it's been like a full circle.
Okay.
They were more. It was more like
it was just like sizes.
Yeah, you can face forward and still see them.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest.
Me neither. I feel more uncomfortable when I'm on stage without a mic and I'm just standing there. That's why I feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
But once I grab a mic and I just I feel at home.
I've told people before, like I'm kind of socially anxious, like particularly like if I'm in a place that has a decent crowd, and I tell people wonder like how do you perform if you're socially anxious? You must not really be, but like the difference is I'm in control when I'm on stage. Everything's choreographed. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know exactly like this part's gonna change to this, and so like. But, like, if I'm in public and I'm just saying stuff, I'm always afraid, like, someone might overhear something out of context, and I can't control their perception to me the same way that if I'm on stage, I feel like it's all in my control. Do you guys
It's like the internal dialect, just,
for sure, man.
It's that internal dialect.
For sure.
Sometimes it can fog your mind, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Having a clear mind.
There's moments I gotta just close my eyes and rap, because if I look around, the type of crowd that's around would just throw off my raps. Because there's been some shows, like, if it's a hip hop show, like a Grammy hip hop show, I'm like, let's go.
Eyes wide open,
I'm pumped up. I'm like, yo, because I know this is a hip hop crowd and they're gonna love it. But there's been festivals that we do, and like I'm families. Like the whole time I'm like, yo, Queen, I'm like, you think they're gonna like us? Like this crowd is like. They got like banjo players. They got like instruments, bands, and families, like singers. Like, I haven't heard a rapper yet. I'm like,
the families thing is a little strange.
It's cool though, but it's
the after effect has always taught me though. But the after effect has always taught me though. Like, yo, you should just go up there and spaz. Like, do your thing, because after people are like, and I'm like. Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
people are there for a reason. Yeah.
So
I used to do a lot of like these little cafe open mics when I started as Kid Ikarus. But that first project I did was much more tame. And then as I got older, my music got a little more grimier. And I would go to those like cafe open mics, and like I didn't want to play my newer songs because I was like, this is not the right audience for this music anymore, and started doing more shows that were straight, just hip-hop shows at bars or venues that are more an older crowd. Like, I started getting uncomfortable around, like, performing my music in front of, like, teenagers, because I'm like, I don't want to have a negative influence on you guys. Like, yeah. Not that my music is particularly negative, but like out of one song out of the context of the EP might be
be a little wild.
Yeah, because
it's funny. I sometimes I like curse in my lyrics, and a lot of the times at the family events, I'll say like. This fucked up system or something, right? And there'll be like young girls, like 12, 10 years old, and they're like, "You're my favorite rapper," You're my favorite MC.
She got that one time, yo.
Several times, like,
I just remember one particular time.
Yeah, and it's just cool. But I feel you on, but I feel like maybe those kids need that realness too, instead of just that pop music.
I definitely liked it when I was a kid. Like
Me too.
I was definitely gravitated towards people who were more raw.
For sure.
Because you can tell when people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
When people are too polished, you can hear it and be like, "This is not."
But if it's like sexual, then I feel like like maybe you shouldn't say that in front of kids.
Yeah.
But hey, to be honest, like. I rather, if we had a kid, I'd rather a kid hear that than like some like washed down sexual shit that's hidden content, you know what I mean? Because some of the stuff is like, it sounds like some Disney Channel shit, but they're really saying like grind on like pole crazy shit.
But they're just singing
They're just singing, the girl be singing, and I'm just like, I'd rather her say fuck the system, or some weird shit like that, or like you can eat, like some crazier grimy stuff,
you can eat what?
Because nothing. There's no ending to that. It was a period.
You can eat some cookies and fucking have a good time.
Yeah, that's that Dan Schneider phenomenon. You all know about Dan Schneider?
Man, we are some under the cave on the rock people.
He was the producer. He produced a bunch of Nickelodeon shows.
Oh, okay.
And
wait, Rob Schneider?
Dan Schneider.
Brothers? Because Rob Schneider is an actor and he's hilarious.
No, yeah. I enjoy Rob Schneider. Dan Schneider is a creep. That's
really?
the end of this story.
Okay, yeah. Let's leave it at that.
Got in trouble for a lot of stuff because that's that kid show stuff.
It's like that subliminal
kid show stuff brings in like some creepy people where like the more like if you ever hear like child actors, the ones that are on kid show stuff, they tend to be the ones who are mistreated. Whereas someone like Haley Joel Osment, who was in more adult-themed movies as a kid, seems to be pretty well adjusted.
That's a scary world for kid actors, man.
Yeah,
dirty ass people out there, man.
Like
that is wild
I
to think
don't want
about.
to say some names.
Sure. Dan Schneider worked on iCarly, and Jeanette McCurdy, who was in iCarly, has talked about how terrible it was, and how like he would tell her, "Hey, you know the kids on Victoria, it's like they drink all the time. Why don't you like have some drinks with me on set?" You know,
some sick motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's
damn,
and so that's why it's sometimes better to just be more raw, because at least like then people see whatever raw parts there are of
for sure. Like, oh, that's that, let me go over here, you know, instead of just yeah, for sure.
The other people are snakes in the grass.
Yeah, you always gotta be careful for people in their if they have ulterior motives.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So on that note, we're gonna finish. But this is we're getting to the end of this, so I always have my guests just shout out any musical artists, any visual artists, any businesses, any restaurants, anyone that is underappreciated that you want to get some eyes on their work.
Well, shout out Pump Gato, we got that show.
That's right. Fuck yeah, Pump Gato.
Yeah, slang, you know what I mean?
Honestly, he is such a dope cat, man.
Yeah.
Always been huge in the community, and yeah, got much love for Pump. He for sure.
Yeah,
always fucked with us, so we always
right now,
with him.
definitely Pump Gato is cool. Definitely want to give love to Mali Nali Foods, Indigenous
Mali
culture.
Nali.
They have been showing us love, and that's a beautiful, beautiful energy that's connected people. They got a show this Sunday too. It's like an Indigenous Peoples Day event. It's gonna be fire. So this Sunday, much love to Mali Nali Foods. Definitely east of the river. Okay, yeah. 86 Inca. They have been a huge support and love to us as hip hop, Indigenous Cats. U-Blog, Underground Hip Hop Blog. They're great people with us, man. We love them. THOP Fest, 60 East. You know what I mean? Has been a great help. Like people like those have really showed us a lot of love, you know what I mean? Us coming up, honestly.
Yeah, those are some people that have really I don't know, they've
helped
done wonders for, our music. So yeah, definitely want to shout them out.
Yeah.
And
Mali Foods is actually a restaurant too, so
right on.
Out in East LA, super fire, vegan ancient foods, really good.
Some underdogs to shout out though.
Man, there's so many, in these moments, I wish I had a notebook and I would have wrote it down. I'm like,
you should shout out Quest. Yeah. At Quest Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quest Coast. Homie Quest Coast is Zapata.
The
homie sure. Zapata and Quest Coast. Man, so many people to shout out. I'm trying to think of everybody. So many people, man. Solarius and your sister, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Laylo, they've been...
my sister actually makes t-shirts, so if you need a connection, she has...
I
forget what her machine is. It's not screen printing. It's like this.
It's not iron-on, right? That doesn't seem...
No, it's not this shiny, though. But it's clean. It's nice. And so, yeah, and then my... Solarius is he's produced a lot of songs on Indigenous Cats, the upcoming project, so Yeah, definitely shout him out, man. He's been putting in work. Mixing and mastering too on some songs of ours. Tyrone, the Dope Spot Studios.
In Pomona and San Bernardino.
Is that where they have the open mic, the Dope Spot?
They used to do
Probably,
it like that.
Yeah.
That is my dude right there. He blesses us with our mix and master, so we got mad love for him. He's been super patient with us. We're very picky, so shout out to Dope Spot Studios, mix and master. Please go to them. They are good people, and then
and honestly, just the people that we just meet, and they show mad love. Yeah.
LA Native podcast too.
But just for like the people that
you gotta shout out to everybody. We're like, man,
the listeners. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I'll chop you off so you don't have to forget anybody. So this Friday, then October 7th, Slang Hip Hop.
Yes, this Friday. Make sure.
We're excited to rock with you too, man.
Yeah,
I remember that show we had in
out in like the middle of the desert.
Yeah,
there.
with the homie. Yeah, dude, that was good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, with Jessica and no way.
Ikarus, yo, yeah.
Wait. Were you like you were the last one, right?
Yeah.
And
He's like
through
the
the music
host,
video,
like the
I
host in a
remember
way, you know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
I was all back. That was back when I was still chubby.
I remember that.
Did you
I don't
release
remember
that music
you being
video?
chubby though, man.
No,
I do not remember that.
No.
Yeah, it ran into some trouble.
Fuck, I hate when that happens.
But yeah.
What were we talking about?
Music video, he was filming.
We're gonna cut it out.
Much love, y'all. Indigenous Cats.
They buying t-shirts cause armor is too heavy. Like, I'm feeling blessed. Tell me how are you? Just let me know if there's anything that I could do. Yeah, I'm feeling blessed. Tell me how are you? Ain't nobody change the world like I'm certain.